Hello and welcome back to the podcast, We Are Selling. My name's Lee Woodward, your coach and host, and the author of the Complete Salesperson course. Over the last 12 months, I've been the appointed training partner for Barry Plant in Victoria. And recently, we had a private Complete Salesperson course where 265 of their agents and leaders attended the 2 days. The Barry Plant group, led by Lisa Pannell, who also appeared on this podcast, are developing some incredible young talent. And as part of my work for the group and the leaders, I've been building the Bench to Field training program for anyone joining the company. And customised internal training is making such an impact on our young professionals coming through as they learn the real estate sequence, the business framework, the tools of trade and the visuals they need to succeed. And today's podcast is about structure and strategy and building a winning team. Joining us now on the program is one of our feature agents, Caleb Venneri. Caleb, welcome aboard.
Thanks, Lee. A pleasure to be here, mate.
Take us through your story. How long have you been in the group?
So I've been in the group. It's a bit of a technical one because in the Moonee Valley branch, which is under Bill Carp there, I've been about 6 going on 7 years, which essentially fresh from 18 after school, moved here, and that was the first job. But before that, my old man, Tense Venneri, actually runs a Barry Plant Mildura office. So as far as I can remember, I've been a part of the Barry Plant group, essentially. Probably 14, 15, I reckon. I was letterbox dropping the whole lot, starting to do opens with my old man. So yeah, quite a while now in that whole sort of complex term, if you look at it that way.
Absolutely brilliant start. We'll jump straight into the future where we are today. Where are you now?
Yes, so still at Barry Plant Moonee Valley with Billy there. Say 6 years in, I've now got a team of 2, which is great. Olivia and Harry that are working with me currently. We're just absolutely enjoying it. We're doing a lot of movement in the area. We're hovering at sort of the 130 to 140 sales at the moment, which is good. So plenty of energy around. But yeah. 130 to 140 sales is internationally world class. And just for our validation of recording, how old are you today? I'm 25.
25 years of age, 120, 130 sales a year. Let's take you through the main sequence. Lead generation, what are you doing?
I've broken it down to a few components necessarily because it's evolved, of course. So as we've sold more and more, it's become a lot more attraction. So my Ignite is one thing that I always talk about, realestate.com leads. They're absolutely prospering. And we've made that a big target because we've noticed, especially in our market specifically, people are really following leading agents in the area. People are doing their own research and going straight to realestate.com. So, for example, Olivia, we've really targeted a suburb to get to number 1 rather than just spreading across everything. Get to number 1 somewhere quick. And we find that really helps our lead generation probably 3-4x. So we've had a real big focus on that. And we're currently number 1 in about 5 suburbs, which is good. So that's really helped. Aside from that, all the basics, of course. So, from our opens, and just really squeezing as much as we can from each listing. And again, a lot of what we do, I'd say probably 60 to 70% is in the unit market as well. So when we're doing one deal, there's always that opportunity for multiple to come out of that just based on having the block itself. So just prospecting through each listing is a really big one for us because we have the volume now. So they're probably the 2 main sources aside from your database and whatnot and the structure that we run there.
Absolutely fantastic. And Caleb, those results don't just happen. There's a lot of time and effort, a lot of structure and strategy to make that happen. And I just love how you just said, we don't want to go too wide. We want to have that focus on that lane. Stock on hand, how many are you carrying at any given time?
Typically 18 to 25 is that sweet spot. Once we go 25 to 35, which we've been before, we start to test the boundaries of what we do. And that's where we sort of move our structure around depending. But we typically hover like right now, we're at about 20 to 22 online, which is good. And then across the board, as I said, because we're a lot in the unit market, there's a lot of tenancies. So at any given time, we've probably got 40 to 50 listings as per se, just waiting on, vacant, dates, etc. So just moving those things along. We start every campaign with an off-market 1 week period or off-portal, as I should say, actually.
Very good.
We fix my language there, mate. So we have a lot pipelined as per se, and we just get authorities. Is even if they're, 2, 3, 4 months away, I'll get the authority just to secure that.
It's interesting that working that off-portal market, people think, okay, what's the point of doing that? Well, the owner gets to see you sweat. You can find out the buyer engagement level. One sale generating another is such a big reason why the brand has done so well. Just out of interest for our listener and for anyone considering the group, which is always a big part of a decision-making process, how many appraisals are you doing a week for you to keep that sort of volume coming through?
Again, because it's split across three of us, so Harry and Olivia will do their own as well, and we sort of count that all together. But myself, I'll stick to 3 to 4 a day, but I'll really stick to the core appraisals that are hot, essentially, and ready to go. The assessments where they are looking to list, or I know that's coming very, very soon, and I'll stick to sort of 3 to 4 a day is where I find I'm at my absolute A game. And then aside from that, if there's anything on the side, again, Harry and Olivia can help with CMAs, just general price updates, etc. But that's my sweet spot, to be honest with you.
That's a tremendous number. The effective business unit model is very big at Barry Plant. Many of the great teams that have cracked the $1 million mark are doing that. What attracted you to the EBU model?
Look, I was heavily guided by our director, Bill Karp, who's one of the best.
A legend.
Yeah, exactly right. Absolute legend. So it came about where it was probably year 2, I should say, where we got to about 490. Well, I got to about 490. And then he encouraged it more than anything because I didn't know if I was ready for it or not. And he goes, look, mate, the only way that you're going to really get to this next step is if you leverage. And that's where we got our first leverage agent on. And from there, the next year we did $1 million. So it doubled essentially. And that's where I saw the value. And then we put on another one and it's just continued to grow because we know where tasks can go, what will be appropriate, where it will free me up and what else I can then do. So just the equation just works every time.
Now, the Barry Plant brand is very powerful in the area where you work, and we're seeing that right across the Victorian marketplace. For a young agent coming through, what's that great connection with such a powerful brand and being a modern agent like yourself?
Yeah, well, look, it helped me along the way significantly working for a big, powerful brand because age is a factor. The reality is that does come up in a lot of appraisals still, even though we've got the runs on the board now. But having the backing of the network is just incredible. It works every time because I'll go to how many offices we have and all the experience within the office specifically, within the network specifically. And I just find that there's a very low chance where if we're competing against anyone that's smaller, boutique, wherever it may be, that we lose against that because we can bring it up in such a way where you would not want your agent not to have access, I should say, to that type of network. And that just brings a professional backing that you just can't compete with. So I absolutely love it.
It's interesting, isn't it? An owner has a choice to have a network or not a network. But if you're not a network, you don't have the choice to be a network.
Exactly right.
Yeah. All guns blazing is the marketing program there. In doing the complete salesperson course with the group, 265 agents turned up, but the collaboration between everyone in the different offices and each of you can train and spar differently against each other because of different skills.
Exactly. I agree. And it's just awesome. It's like in our office, just in Moonee Valley, as I say, we've got such a variety of agents and different people that we can bounce off, which just helps again, because even your market presence is super strong. So I'll get listings on the back of one of my other colleagues' listings just because the Barry Plant's selling everything.
Yep.
They don't actually go to an agent. Does that make sense? So it's grouse from that perspective.
Take us into the lead conversion, the listing conversation. You've done a lot of work on this, building your agenda. What have you formulated as that best Barry Plant conversation for Caleb?
Yeah, so, I mean, the agenda has been awesome for me because I love structure. It helps me follow a structure, but more importantly, it helps me get off the points that I think you need to in an appraisal to show you a difference necessarily. Otherwise, it can come across where you may miss certain points and forget about certain points. That's the reality of it. Alternatively, you may push the point before they've necessarily brought it up. So a lot of that agenda, the basis of that is to reverse engineer and get them to bring it up rather than myself, if that makes sense. And that's why I've really loved using that. Because as I say, you can bring in your differences. There's a range of differences with myself, Barry Plant, but it has to be important to the owner. So there will be some times where maybe we don't bring up the network because that's not important to them. However, what is important to them is the structure of your team or the sale down the road or the listing you currently have. That then will allow me to pivot. But the agenda helps me bring out, okay, Lee, what do you think is important to have the difference? Or do you think that if you went with Barry Plant now or agent X, Y, and Z, would there be a difference in the end result? Do you believe that? And if they say yes, if they say no, that takes me into, why do you think that? And they will naturally bring it up and I can work them into, do you think buyers are important? Do you think exposure? Okay, yeah. Oh, okay. So network is important to you. So we can reverse it back. But that's why I love the agenda. It just keeps me on track.
Very, very high-end skills in presenting there, breaking it up into those stages. Do you use any visuals in the presentation?
Yeah, so visuals by way of case studies. Yes, of course. Visual by way of
I know the group's looking at a listing leave behind for the future, which would be that executive summary of what you're saying now.
Which is amazing. And even we're actually working on the one that you mentioned about the brochure, essentially for the campaigns that are just extremely detailed end to end. So we're working on those as well, bringing those in. Of course, we leave behind lots of visuals by way of the team, the network, on the map, all those bits and pieces to really just help the conversation go.
Now, client fulfillment is the third part of anyone's business. So lead generation, lead conversion, client fulfillment. When it comes to a brand and platform, you've got that nailed, and that's supporting and working with you so well. In this delivery of service, a lot of agents, as you experienced in that early days, there's only so many you can carry. In an effective business unit, you're dispersing and using the leverage agents to do that. Take us through what the other two team members do.
Of course, yeah. And that helps dramatically by way of your contact points to the owner to make them feel like they're informed all the way through, where it could be something small. We run our EBU as if they're managing agents rather than having an admin only and a buyer agent only. I tried that. For us, look, it personally didn't work just because they wanted to evolve quicker. The admin didn't want to just be admin, and it's hard to fill that position is what I found. So we run them as managing agents. So I'll list one and say, okay, yep, that suits Liv perfectly. You're going to manage this campaign. So then she'll do all the admin and she'll do all the buyer follow-up and those type of things. Touch points to the owner will then be boards, photos, bookings, marketing, payment, all those type of things is their follow-up, booking the opens. And then if they're at the open, I'll then follow in with the follow-up, the negotiation, the feedback. So along the journey, there's significantly more touch points than what I could obviously handle. And that's pretty much how we run it, because it helps me with my listing presentation as well. When other agents say that we've got team members and try to work that against us, is it's not a PA. They're a colleague, and they're exceptionally well fitted perfectly for your campaign because Liv has just ran this one, and this one. I found it best to keep them in their categories, hence why she's got a suburb, Harry's got his suburb, and then we go from there.
Perfect. So when we look into the future now, Caleb, what's on your focus list? Like, I'm here at the Barry Plant headquarters today. We're in the training room. There's so many things going on with head office and the next things with technology and the websites and the leave behinds and the knowledge documents. There's a lot going on, but we bring that straight back down to agent level. Where do you see your focus? What are you passionate about for the future?
Yeah, of course. So the passion really comes in the team, to be honest, where ever since we've really nailed and focused on those suburbs, Harry and Olivia specifically are growing so much quicker. And that's just helped the whole team or pod grow significantly better. So our target's 2 million. And if they can get to their 200, 250 each and put that in perspective, we're treating them like their own agent, if that makes sense. Given me a lot of fulfillment as well to see them grow, putting them first on these ads and seeing how they can then develop and get their own lead conversion and then see them leave, of course. But that's been probably one of my biggest ones, is not for me necessarily to dramatically increase. I want to increase in other areas. I want to increase the fees rather than just the amount of deals, if that makes sense, get more quality as per se, while then increasing their skill set to pile that all together. So the aim at the end of the day is, yes, to go higher in GCI, but in a healthy way that supports everyone.
And Caleb, remuneration is flexible in the way of the standard agent package is out there for a solo agent coming through, but then the effective business units, they've got that opportunity of the incentive for their own staff members. And then we've even got situations where people are like on a sponsorship within a business, meaning, you know, they're coming through the ranks. They might be supplied to some of the agents for a period of that time for training. But I love the Barry Plant way is the flexibility, and then the essential services that you're receiving back are first class.
100%. Yeah, which is, they just help you grow in so many different ways, which is amazing.
Now, with the marketing department, they're coming up to speak to me shortly. It's just amazing that you guys have that resource that I want to get this booklet done, I want to get that done. You're not going out trying to find designers. It's all in-house.
100%. Saves so much more time than what you could possibly imagine, having quality as well. And not like it's just anything average. It's absolute first-class stuff that's delivered to you, no matter when you need it. Brochure design, so many things that we've adjusted per campaign even to have that access there where it doesn't slow anything else down. Top tier.
So the effective business unit, you're definitely mastering that part of it. What's another real estate goal for you for the future?
It's an interesting one because, as you say, we always bring it down to that simple aspect of doing more. But again, doing more effectively. changing potential market. So, slowly increasing into different types of properties or bigger developments even, as I say, because we're in a lot of the unit market, getting complete apartment buildings and things like this has always been on the horizon or agenda to get that next level of clientele specifically as well, which again can then just elevate it completely. But aside from that, as I say, just continuing to grow a team within a team is the biggest one, continuing to do more at the end of the day, but doing more effectively. And I'm very big on tech. So I love all the aspects of tech that are coming through and I love implementing that as best I can. So anything that changes or comes our way, we completely embrace it because I know how helpful it can be.
Caleb, final question for you, and this is for our agents who are a solo agent and have never really looked at effective business unit or team-based structure as an option. What would be your advice of why it was such a game changer for yourself? Because you're doing well, but having that leap of faith and going to an effective business unit, what would be your advice?
Everyone is individual in way of their business, but you just have to break it down. It's not rocket science. It's quite simply you can only do a certain amount at any given time or any given day, no matter how effective you are. And that's only going to get you to a point. That is the absolute reality. Yes, you can potentially increase your fees, but how far can that go? Until you get leverage and only focus on prioritizing specific tasks. So you don't want to do any of your admin necessarily, your building inspections, your final inspections. And once you realize how much time you're spending on those items, you'll realize how much more effective you can be and just how quickly your business can quite literally double. Because there's one thing about putting someone on, but putting someone on and actually effectively training them to be something that's very similar to you so you can run it a bit of a clone. I like to say that there's three of me, if that makes sense, or three of us just to clone, and they're not just doing non-dollar productive tasks. You can't just think one way, in my personal opinion. You need them to also generate you another income stream or another lead stream while also giving you more time. And I just don't think you will be able to get to that next level if you're hoping to as an agent without having leverage and focusing on specifically dollar-focused tasks.
Caleb Venneri, an absolute brilliant interview. Thank you for joining us and sharing your story.
Thank you very much, Lee. Appreciate it.